Welcome everyone to Plastic Cards Podcast. We're here with Nick Depalo. He is an indie game dev. You're working on Adams Ascending. You're also the CEO of Parable Words, if I'm saying that right.
Parable Worlds, but it's
Parable
all the
Worlds,
same.
right.
All the same.
And so you're Nick Depalo. You're, from what I gather from you, you're an Italian, powerhouse of a man. You got that chisel jaw. You're giving Henry Cavill a run for his money with that. I've been watching so much Witcher lately that it's like... But
I've been watching Witcher, and I'm like, man, that guy's got me on the jawline. Dang. So
I don't know. That's a pretty tight. That's a pretty tight race right there. I wouldn't want to make me nervous looking at that photo finish.
Yeah, I'm angry looking at him. Just like I wish I could look like that, but never. But just to give you a rundown on us, so my name is Fonzie. I got my co-host here, Gavin Jones. He's the indie game dev extraordinaire.
I keep saying that. It's terrible.
But you have actual experience doing indie game stuff. You went to school for that. I'm just a simple gamer, sweeping the floor. But we both love games and follow the industry and stuff.
But we're all in this together as a family. So whether we're changing pipes or sweeping floors or building the infrastructure, we're all in the same house. So That's what it's about.
I agree. And I appreciate you being on the show and being willing to talk to us. Like, that's awesome. So
absolutely. Thank you for the invite. And hopefully you can hear me good. So let me know.
You're coming in clear. Yeah. And I might make little adjustments here along the way, but you're coming in clear here. So I want to get right into it. Just get some info on your background with what brought you to the indie game dev world. You have some experience in the, or quite a bit in the film industry. So at what point did you kind of, decide to go into this world?
First off, do you want the long version or the short version?
I guess kind of a
medium version. The medium. We'll do the
medium. There you go. Because I've kind of dabbled in some of the podcasts you've done with, like, say, Play Everything. Those guys on YouTube. You've dug in deep on that, and I love those interviews too. But yeah, like whatever you feel comfortable, the speed you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. So and forgive me if I already forgot the question because I have a million things going on. But the journey. Worked in the film industry for about 7 years. Loved storytelling and what it did emotionally for the audience, and did that on the East Coast for so many years. And then just all of a sudden, I grew up playing games, like literally every day, 4, 5, 6 hours a day growing up. Summertime, it's like, go outside. Like, no, I'm okay. I'm just gonna sit here and play games.
I'm all set.
And are there games out there? Are they better than this? No.
Yeah, it's just totally immersed in that experience. And grew up with games, and then always loved them and loved what they made you feel. And then, just to give you some, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but give some more in depth that did some rough level editing and Jedi Knight back in the day on PC and just, I don't know, I didn't even know what I was doing, but I was like, oh, this is fun, this is cool to create a story, and was horrible at it. But then as I grew, I guess film was I didn't know how to code. I didn't know how to do anything. I just knew I loved video games. And I kind of came across a buddy of mine, Joel Barham, who was a teacher at my high school. And then he mentioned he was doing short films. And I always had, growing up, I started grabbing my mom's camera and grabbing Star Wars action figures and doing some edits and putting them all together. And then when that came up, I was like, man, okay, I love video games. Maybe I could kind of, get this fire that's in my heart out in this form instead. So we kind of partnered up, I graduated high school, and then from there I was just like, you know what? I'm going to teach myself university, and we're just going to stay on the film course and just start doing film stuff. So did that with him. We grew together and learning storytelling for about 7-8 years, grew into some cool industry stuff in film, worked with some awesome companies and people. And then from there, was it 2013, I think, then just got the bug of, okay, let's go to California. Me and my fiance at the time, who's my wife now, just packed our bags, moved out to the West Coast, no jobs lined up. Didn't really think about I'm going to go out there and do the gaming scene. It was just more of California's calling me, and I don't know why I have to stop doing this film stuff, but there's something else that I have to do, and I don't know what it is yet. And then kind of just to bring this long story to make it a little shorter, came out here, had no job, started doing some small mobile games myself, just tinkering with it. And then I started coming to the realization, I was like, wait, I was kind of doing this when I was young, and now I'm starting to understand there is something here that's brewing in me that it's been dormant this whole time. And so I kind of started combining all that film experience of getting a story across and being consistent and using what was only important to make impact, and kind of started playing around and released like 2 mobile games that were very small and rinky dink. I think they made I remember when I started it, I was telling my buddy Joel, who was on the East Coast, who was my film buddy, I was like, even if I make a penny, like that's successful. We're going to do it. And then I put the game out and I think it literally made a penny. And I was like, man, next time I need to like say it's got to make $100,000 or something instead of a penny.
I owe money somehow now.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was just all passion and just did it from my heart. And then from there, I was like, why am I doing mobile? Mobile's great. Yeah, cool. But I'm a console hardcore, you could say, gamer, and love that side. And then just one day downloaded Unity and started playing around with Unity, and I was hooked. I was like, oh my God, I'm God. I can make worlds. Yeah. So it was super cool. And then been doing that since 2015. I started Adams Ascending. That's the transition from the mobile to all right, literally had a dream one day of the idea, woke up, and it was just like, okay, this is not going to leave my soul and my brain until I get it done. So it's been for 5 years since then, just let's go. And hopefully this year is the end of the race. So sorry for the super long story, but try to condense it.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because you figured out almost along the way, I imagine, with developing with Unity, right? So was there a struggle with learning the tools? Was it just kind of trial and error? Did you just immerse yourself in YouTube? Did you go do any classes? How did you because you've on the other end of seeing Adams Ascending, you've created this pretty, in-depth world coming from, it seems like, not having that experience with Unity. You created something pretty nuts. So yeah, what was the struggle with that?
The struggle, YouTube was the best teacher ever in the planet. And I think looking back, doing the film stuff, it was, didn't go to film school. It was the same mentality of okay, there's a camera. You could learn the camera, learn what you have to do. How do you get this shot? Your passion kind of forces you to want to learn because you're so fired up to do something. So I kind of use my film experience to say, okay, how do I make this player walk? How do I make, let's take one step at a time, just like I did with film, and that led to where it did. So I'm hoping I could do the same with games. So yeah, downloaded it, started doing some YouTube tutorials, and then even just checking out all their assets and being like, oh, this is how this person did it. Cool. Okay, let me pull some ideas from here and mix what I think I could do. And again, I'm not I'm not Neo looking into the Matrix. If you show me code, I'm just like, what does that do? Yeah. But I could get the basics and be like, oh, if I do this leads to that, and that opens that, and that. Okay, cool. So, and Unity is very friendly of teaching newbies like myself. So, but yeah, I know it was horrible when I started. It's still pretty rough, but I just wanted to lay the foundation, and I knew, all right, let's get the foundation, and then from there, the next door will open and open and open, and I'll get across. So, yeah, hopefully that. Sorry, I'm getting an Alexa notification, so I'm sorry if you could hear that in the background.
No, you're fine.
Alexa, buy tacos.
Yeah, no, order 30
tacos.
And that is one thing I do really. So I grew up with a different engine, but I think one thing Unity has been really incredibly blessed with is their community. Is very, very helping, and it seems like you can pop on their forums and go, look, I'm so close to getting this fixed. Can someone? They're like, oh yeah, dude, I got you. Come on.
Yeah, very true, very true. I think that's been a life saver because there's a million other people like me going through the loops, and they'll probably come across a problem. I'm always drooling over the Unreal Engine. I'm like, maybe one day, one day, But there's a lot of great engines out there, and but yeah, definitely the community has been just absolutely stunning from my perspective. So, yeah.
And I wonder if there's a lot of devs out there, or potential devs, they feel like there's such a high mountain to climb where it's like, oh, I can never get into that, I can never do this, but you almost have to just start and then start going, and then you start learning along the way. But a lot of people need to kind of, if they have that desire, shake through that initial fear of and just start working on it and start plugging away.
Yeah, I think it's just go.
Right.
And, it's like everything in life is just freaking do it. Like you could sit there and break down, how do I do this? How do I do that? And yes, prep, but there's a point, everything in existence, it's just action. And I always say it's like, faith without works is dead. Like you got to have both. You got to believe that you could do it, and then you got to put action behind it. You could have the seed in your hand of a plant all you want, and it's like you have to plant it in the soil. You have to start watering it. You got to give it some sunlight. It's like you got to take that first step to get to, I don't know, the tomato plant and start eating some pasta sauce, for my horrible Italian analogy. Hey, pasta.
Well, and you said, I think prep is a very important thing that people focus too much on too, which is with games like, failing as you go is a fantastic way to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fail fast and just fail often. And
like, no one's going to look back at you and say, oh, remember that time when Tim Sweeney made, like, I don't know, that terrible game on mobile? It's like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, what's he I can't remember who Tim Sweeney is, but I know he's in the game industry.
Oh God, yeah, no, you're
Tim Sweeney?
He's somebody.
and yeah, that just shows too. It's like, in the end, it's just about laying that foundation and going, and these every successful, whether it's whoever, Kojima or Steven Spielberg, or you literally start at this like most basic foundation that's horrible, and that's where we all start, and that's the cool advantage to life. We're all at day one, starting from there.
Yeah. Real quick, we'll cut this. Can you go like this real quick? I think there was a hair there earlier just dangling off that would sparkle in the sunlight. I think it's gone, but I want to make sure.
Look at that backlighting, man. I set up that backlight. It's so good for you. You get that.
Oh, yeah.
That backlight. Yeah, look at that.
It's like you have experience with movies and
with
stuff.
film. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm kind of too blown out, but not too much.
That reminds me as well, with we talk about the movie experience. I feel like you're in a unique position where you can add this like narrative perspective because you have such a focus on movies. So what do you kind of bring to the table when it comes to your experience in that film industry with actually creating a game? I feel like you're in a unique position there.
Yeah, I think every day as I work on the game, it makes me realize, okay, there's fluff here. And I think we've become accustomed to fluff. It might sound weird, like, oh, that's just what games are. But I'm really adamant of trying to like innovate on something. And the films really showed me to like, what does the characters want? What are his obstacles? And then it's like, what is not necessary in this scene or in this level? Like, let's get on to the point. For me, I'm a very story-driven player. And that to me always, gameplay is king. Yes, story's king. I think they're both mixed together in the same world, but that story element, there's got to be something that pulls you and motivates you to go through, not just the gameplay so great. I want to keep playing it just for the gameplay. I think there's the element with film that has created in me the opportunity to just see what's needed. Okay, what's the point of this level? Okay, we're trying to get this point across. Cool. Next one. I hate fluff. Like I don't even think I'm going to have, a home screen menu. I'm still going, why do we have this? We go watch a movie. The movie starts, only when we purchase it on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, or download it, you get a menu. And I know, okay, you buy a game, but just even the idea of a menu, it's like we need to integrate a menu into the gameplay instead of just being a screen that says, here's the title. Okay, we'll get the title as we start playing. I don't know, just crazy ideas. It's like, and then for me personally, it comes down to just a busy life, as we all get older, for some reason, it seems like things get faster and tighter and harder to get time in. And, just even last night I was playing, I don't want to name names, but just playing a game that recently came out. I'm just like, no, I can't be doing this over and over again. I'm done. And I do not want that to affect, players who would potentially come across Adam's Ascending. And I'm not the greatest making the greatest game, but film has influenced me in that way. It's just like, get from point A to point B. Let's go. Let's have fun. And let's make it entertaining.
Right. No, that's a great eye to have. Like I'll often complain to Gavin all the time about, I'm a stickler as I get older as well, where it's like, I need to know that I'm on, my time isn't being wasted with a game in particular, where it's like the momentum, the timing, the momentum, I guess, is a big deal. So if I feel like it's just taking too long for something to happen, I get
Yes.
frustrated. You know, I end up quitting just because there's a time issue. There's this delicate balance of the player's time, and I feel like people, you know, developers need to respect that. A lot of them do, but it's a good eye to have where it's just not forcing them to just like wait for, oh, this game kicks in after like 2-3 hours. It's like, well, give me that carrot, you know, along the way, like help me understand why I want to play this game. But yeah,
absolutely. I think there's a new era coming as well of just, you know, there will always be your long play sessions, 100%. I love those experiences. You want to feel totally immersed, but I think there's something new coming that's just going to be about, you know, here's a great package, enjoy it. You know, we're not going to take 10 years to make it. We want to make something that's fast, shorter, and then be able to turn around and give you the same thing again faster in a year or in 6 months. Right. You know, it's like, imagine playing a God of War. I know it's huge and long and fantastic, but imagine playing something that was so impactful like that down into like a 3-hour experience and be like, oh my gosh. And think about if it was only 3 hours, how fast the development would be, you know? Yeah. So it's like, oh my God, I want more of this. And it's like, yeah, you're getting it in 4 months. The next game, you know, it's like the length of a movie, you know, it's like, here's the next piece of God. And I know that sounds crazy, but
or like that episodes kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that reduces pricing and, you know, makes more customers pour in, and then reduces the cost for development and the cost for the player to just pick it up, and they get to enjoy it faster and more abundantly. I don't know. It's just my perspective. I'm always excited to see new things and try different things, but you know, cheers.
And that's something that I honestly really personally am more thirsty for. Like, I love these little experiences. Like, I know the other day, like, I hadn't played any games in a while, so a few weekends ago I knocked out like 6 1 to 2 hour games, or I may have done like 7 or 8 that weekend. And it's really nice to have those compact experiences. Like, the next one on my list is Firewatch. That short narrative, really good. But it's such a tricky one because the industry is really not even built for it. In some ways it's reverse. And I would love to see if, now that we have all these, and especially publishers don't love to see that, but like, I would love to see with these streaming services, right? That makes so much sense, because yes, I can give the developer, you know, the money they want and they deserve, but they can still give me those little packets. Like, you know, Minute was absolutely one of my favorite games to come out.
I didn't play that
last few years. You son of a
damn it.
I beat it in 45 minutes. It was amazing. It was like a love letter to Zelda packed into 2 hours if you 100% it.
Gotcha.
But that's awesome.
That might be like, I wonder if gamers are just, I guess generationally, like, we're getting older, so maybe that's why there's been this rise of these indie titles that are shorter, and they become more popular, because it's like, a lot of us have lives and stuff, and
that's exactly it. We're getting older at this point.
We're getting older,
like, we don't have time to
I gotta mow the lawn. I gotta, you know, work on the garage car. I don't know how to do adult things.
No, yeah, I think that's the new trend. Hopefully, that's picking up. And in the end, it's always up to the indies to be like, you know, it's always a proof of concept. AAA always has their proof of concept. Like, hey, this works. You take 5 years, you put it out there. We might lose money. We might make tons. Yeah. Where they just need to see that concept and the numbers. Be like, hey, look, it took us, you know, 6 months, and we released it with 6 months marketing, and now it's out, and you made this much, and it only cost you that much. I think once AAA sees that, they go, all right, we'll try that. We'll you know, and a lot of AAAs have like those little indie studios. So I think we just have to prove it first and prove that it works, you know, and just make sure it's scalable for everybody. Oh, and by the way, I've been wanting to say as soon as we started, like, that PlayStation back there with the little smiley face, kind of funny smile, still sexy. It's very.
I'm ride or die for kind of funny for sure. Like, I love
it's very nice. I have mine here. Hopefully everything doesn't fall apart. Got mine here, but there's no kind of funny on it. It's just like, it's all sad.
Well, you fucked up. That's an actual PS1, right? That's
actual PS1. Yeah. So still functions, man.
Nice.
Still good, man. They these consoles, man, stick around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very nice. Sorry to go off course. But
no, and we're
nice.
talking about.
I keep looking at the bookshelf back there.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm just like, ooh.
We're talking about like these smaller experiences, but to go back to Adam's Ascending, it seems like that's not what you're trying to do there. It feels like it's this fully fleshed out, like, in-depth universe. You got this storyline going. There's like crazy, trippy sci-fi stuff going on. Are you creating more of a longer experience there?
It's funny because as I'm developing it feels long, but I feel like the normal player will probably like burn through it and be like, that's it, you know what? Well, that's it for that much, you know? It's
well,
like,
the
what
trailer
the hell?
anyways, you're like segued into all these different parts of the world. It's like, oh, I imagine it being a long experience, but
yeah, it's yeah, I think it depends on how much, because I always go with the concept, you know, explore, solve, survive. It depends on how much the player wants to explore and like find every like in the end, I want the whole world to be full of trinkets that you could pick up and find clues of the story. Like there will be the main story thread, but then the more you explore, you'll find these little elements everywhere and be like, oh, that's cool. So that really depends. But yeah, I think even with Adam's Ascending, I hope it's 3 hours to 5 or something, you know, I hope. And even if it's 2 hours, cool. But I always wanted to, you know, keep the player going. Like, okay, oh, this just happened. Next, awesome. And just hopefully they just go on a crazy thrill ride that they go, that was awesome, I want more. But for sure, I even after this experience, I'm like, all right, I want to make something that's very intense, fast, compact, that has the meat of a big story and a big game, but just condensed into like an hour and a half, just for development time and turnaround. But yeah, Adam's Ascending, I just want to take people on an epic adventure, man. I love those games that I get to play and just like, wow, I'm here. Oh my gosh, I'm here now. Whoa, cool, I'm here. Like, what is going on? You know, and just have a fun, great time. And then at the end of it, just say, that was great, cool. You know, I didn't spend a buttload of money, and it was a cool experience. And for me, just moving the player's purpose internally within their own lives. I hope at the end it just makes them go, oh my gosh, like we talked about, like I need to go do this thing now that's burning in my heart. That's the kind of message I want to get out with Adam's Ascending and with future projects. So yeah, as long as it flows, you know, you've seen movies where they could be 3 hours long and you're like, that felt like an hour and a half. Like, what? You know, and then 3 hour movies that are like, that felt like 7. Like, please, could have got to my head, you know, like,
right.
So I think
from this theater.
So it really depends on the pacing. And I think that's hopefully if it is 3 to 5 or I don't know, 8, it feels like 1 and or 2. So that's the goal with it, hopefully.
Right. And it was something you kind of mentioned in there, like the hope with the game is like, you know, more people will explore, the more content they'll find. So that's kind of the hope. I know we saw a thing recently on the Outer Wilds, how that was sort of their core component of the whole game is the more you explore, the more you find to explore and find more to explore. And that really kind of resonated. Does that kind of give you, seeing that game take off that well with a similar philosophy of exploring to explore, does that kind of give you more faith and more hope kind of going forward with your game?
Yeah, I think, you know, it comes down to the player, us as people, whatever we do in life, whether you buy a house or you go into a new apartment or you get a new job, it's instinct to go, what's new? Oh, what I got to get accustomed to this. I need to, and then we become accustomed to it, and like, okay, what's next? What's next in life? What's the next job? What's the next thing? And I think it's just built into games as like the DNA of a game of just, you go into a new world. So I think the more we could tap into that natural human fire burning in all of us of wanting to see new, that's why we end up going next gen. Oh, okay, I'm going to upgrade my PC. I'm going to buy next gen. It's like, we want new. We always want to see new. We want to see where it takes us. I think the more a game does that, the more player wants to keep scratching. Like, how deep does this go? You know, like, ooh, I don't know, turned over this rock. Oh, can I turn over the dirt? Oh, can I turn over the soil beneath that dirt? You know, you want to keep digging, and we always want to. And what happens when we hit, you know, an invisible wall? We're like, what? Oh, this is lame, man. Like, I want to walk into that ocean. Yeah. What's behind that? Because that's what we do as humans. We want to just go, you know, and that's why we went to the moon, now Mars, and then next, and that, you know, it's like, we're not satisfied. We want to keep exploring until we hit the No Man's Sky, you know, outer walls there, and we're like, whoa, this is all a video game. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's just no, that's a good topic is like with the games I'm playing lately, there's a high incentive to explore and almost experience the story that way. Or how do you tackle delivering that story with Adam's Ascending? How do you tackle giving the story to the player? Are you more is there a mix of I want them to sit down and watch this cutscene, I want them to see this story unfold through the gameplay? Do you have go back and forth? Like, how do you kind of tackling that?
Yeah, I always talk with my creative buddies, and I say it's like cutscenes are very important, but I think they should be illegal in video games. It's like, but they're great. Don't get me wrong. I know it's and I don't, I wouldn't say a cutscene, but something that cuts into the camera panning and showing you something. But yeah, I think cutscenes, we want to physically go through the world in Adam's Ascending, and for me, yeah, it's about the player just getting the story as they go, as they, I don't know, go through some wreckage or their crash ship, and they go forward and they go, whoa, what's this in front of me? What? There's two paths? Oh, literally the items that are, old ancient statues laying around is up to you to go up to them and go, whoa, this is saying take this path or take this path. What's going on? Because like even movies, it's the best movies leave mystery. They don't fill in all the gaps. They leave it up to you to go home and talk to everybody around you. Like, oh, I think it means that. Oh, I think it means that. It's like life's about filling in the gaps and taking your own perspective of it. So I think with Adam's Ascending, yeah, definitely let the world will be telling the story. I always say it's like the gameplay is the world and the world is the gameplay. It sounds weird, but it's like you're literally immersed. People might go, oh, there's some combat, there's some exploration, but the world itself is the gameplay. Like go and unravel the story. And depending on the choices you make, it's not even like, oh, here's a cutscene and some dialogue and what choice do you want to pick? And that's gonna take you. No, it's like literally there's an effing path. It's like you want to go this way, you're physically walking that way to trigger the side of the story you're going. You want to go this way, you're physically walking that way. You're not just sitting there pressing a button. We want you to right. Or I want you to take action to make that unfold. If that makes sense.
It's a great, and I imagine a hard decision to make as a creator, but it's like from the outside as a gamer, lately as an example, I've been playing and I finally beat Death Stranding. And so
played it last night, man.
Oh, nice. And so there's this, I do have this back and forth feeling with, I love experiencing a story while I'm playing it, say like Half-Life, that kind of thing, or old first BioShock. I love experiencing where as I'm playing the game, I'm experiencing the story. At the same time, I also really dig, say with Kojima, he sits you down and says, hey, motherfucker, you're going to watch this cutscene. And it's like, okay, I'm watching this cutscene.
Yeah,
or like Last of Us. Like you're watching the cutscene, and they're beautiful cutscenes that they further the story. So it's almost this back and forth where sometimes when you do it as at an expert level, then I want to see that cutscene. Or if you do the gameplay at an expert level, I want to see that gameplay. It's like, but there's room in the middle for a mixture, I imagine, for both.
Yes. I think that's the key. It's like trying to find, and that's amazing. I'm sure if I had production value and backing like that, you're kind of tempted to be like, ooh, I want to like really flush out this cutscene or the story in a cutscene, because you could get the most across in that way, and it gives the player a moment to pause and to soak it up. But yeah, I think hopefully there is some medium that's happening. Whether it kind of goes into a cutscene that you could control the player, something along those lines. That sounds crazy, but yeah, I think there should be some medium ground. But yeah, with Death Stranding, I think, like I said, I think that's what makes games amazing. There's something for everyone, and you could have everything. You don't have to have it one way. And I think there are times where I want to sit down and experience Death Stranding and go, yes, give me freaking 45 minutes of the story. Like, I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Oh, he will.
He will.
Oh, yeah.
He kicks open your door and like ties you to your couch, and you go watch his cutscene. Yeah.
It was pretty hilarious last night. I was like, all right, late night, I'm going to stay up, just play some games. And I'm like exhausted and playing some Death Stranding. I finish a mission, and then I literally like pass out with the controller in my hand. And then I wake up, I think like 40 minutes later, and literally the character's on screen sleeping, crouched over, just like myself. And I'm just like, whoa, what an immersive experience. We're both sleeping here. So it was pretty funny and intense. I was like, yeah, I think I got to go to sleep now. I'm done. But I got to feel the package delivery. I was exhausted.
Right.
And I passed out.
Then when
So
you take out your
immersive.
garbage, you just strap it to your back and you walk out. Yeah.
Just grab like 40 pillows, stack them on my back, like I'm going to bed. Just head over.
So since this is a puzzle game, I've found with developers making puzzle games, they have some of the when you start to play test these things, they tend to have some of the funniest, some of my oh my god, I'm an idiot stories, or just like how didn't I realize that was a problem? Like, do you have any kind of fun stories with kind of the playtesting of things of just like how did I not realize that would be a problem, or like oh I forgot to tell them this thing, or there was like oh they could avoid me telling them this thing?
Yeah, I think it was during shout out to Greg Miller. Kind of funny. I think we're doing the E3 kind of funny showcase. Had an opportunity to bring Adams Ascending there, and you know, Greg with his big personality comes over screaming like "Nick Depalo!" and he comes over and he's like, "Let me play this thing, come on!" And then he started playing it for like 5-10 minutes, and you know, we were talking, so we're both distracted. And but one of the early stages, you know, you have to do something with some firewood to trigger something else, and it says go to the cave. You know, there's something that's hinting you to go to a cave, and because you know, literally he's like playtesting it as he's playing it. You know, there is like a structure in front that looks like a cave, but it's not, and he just like keeps wandering in circles and circles.
Oh, no.
I'm like, yeah, everybody thinks that's a cave, but the cave's over there.
Right.
He's like, oh shoot, okay, you know, like so it's pretty. And then he gave me actually a cool story of when he was demoing some game a couple of years back, and you know, he's like, don't even worry about that. He's like, I've played AAA games where we've had all journalists all over playing, and you know, we were all wandering for literally 45 minutes in an area, and they're like, yeah, we're supposed to take that out. I don't know why that's there still. And he's like, it happens to you and it happens to AAA. So he's like, it's all part of the process. So that made me feel good too, to just be like, all right, man, you know, like life is like that. That was one puzzle that it made me really see how amazing games are, where, you know, movies you sit down, you watch, you're like, oh, I got those points. Okay, I didn't get the point. Where games are literally, if your world is not built a certain way, that literally the environment's not literally leaning and pointing you in the direction, you're going to be wandering. And I'm trying to also stay away from, you know, highlighted areas, or like, oh, look at that rock, it looks different. Maybe you should more of just like,
it's very subtle. There's like a balance or a dance of how do I guide the player but still let them discover it on their own. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. Like now taking out this, like it was like an arching mountain, you know, like it looked like a canyon a little bit, and they all thought, him and anybody else thought it was a cave. So just like literally getting rid of the arch, the arcing canyon there, everybody like went the right way, and it's like, oh wow, okay, right. You know, like and then, you know, even trickling the ground with some figurines and toys that kind of like make your eye go that way instead of like the opposite. It's pretty crazy. But I think that's even part of the storytelling, like the player's eyes and which way they look and which way you're leading them, even with physical environment. That's an element of storytelling. But yeah, I guess that's a little puzzle that was funny, that kind of stuck out.
Absolutely.
In the good old days.
Or once you give a game, we see this all the time on the internet too, and like we were just talking about these speed runs are happening recently, where you give the game to the actual community and they basically try and break it, and they try and like figure stuff out, or we can actually get around this puzzle by doing this thing. And it's like, it's this weird area with game dev where you have a creative vision and it's something you want to say, but then you give it to the community and they go, yeah, that's cool, I'm going to do this with it, and like just do something completely out of what you didn't expect out of it. And with movies, you don't get that. With music, you don't get that.
Yeah, it's funny. There was one scene, an individual, I think it was, friend, individual. He was playing a section, and there was like a crash landing section, and I have like all this debris in front of the path you have to take, and it's like burning and everything's smoking. And he didn't even get close enough to know that there's like a little opening that you could leap over, you know, like a door or something. Yeah. So he ended up just like, oh, there's a fire in a path. Oh, I just like climbed up the mountain, went around the like the blockage that I had, and like climbed over. And I was like, oh, you could do that. I didn't even freaking realize that, you know, like, and that's what games do. That's what the exploration part of the game is. It's like, you you got to let the player do whatever you shouldn't block that so much that says, no, you have to leap over this burning door. It's like, it should be open where it's like, well, if you want to climb that hill and go over the ridge and then drop down, that should be a path. It's so it's interesting to, you never realize that till you see it, and then you're like, wow, it makes a big difference for player experience.
Now, did you remove that method, or did you leave that in?
I actually tried it yesterday. I was like, yeah, it's still in. Sweet. So I left it in. I couldn't remember if I blocked it or I put some invisible wall, because, as a developer and an artist, you want them to oh, look, they're learning to leap over things. But then it's like, you know what? Screw it. If they want to just, ghetto, jump, hop all the way over the cliff and come down, cool. That's let it be fun. Let it be janky. If it makes you laugh, cool. That's just as long as you're not falling through the world and just going nowhere. But yeah, it's interesting. I think people are devouring and destroying games nowadays because there's such a bigger community and just online and videos, and you could be like, oh man, I could do that. I saw someone do it. Let me try it this way, and then they break it even further. So it's a crazy experience. I didn't even I had I think a German Twitch streamer streamed the game one time, and I couldn't understand a word he was saying, but I could tell he was laughing at all the glitches and bugs. And I was like, cool, man. He's finding completely things I weren't even aware of. I them later. But yeah, that's it. Long story.
Well, you said, so you got a show at E3, which is very cool. Was that Indie Mega Booth by chance, or?
Yes.
Funny showcase?
Yes, which is awesome. With something that's kind of a bit bigger and more verbose like your game, something you can't necessarily look at and just get it instantly. Did you kind of learn any tricks or learn anything while you were there that make something that's a little harder to just grasp instantly, help people kind of ease into that and get it and be able to kind of hop into that demo and be able to kind of get it a little easier?
Yeah, back to the film experience, it made me really realize, the demo I had there was great, but it was literally the beginning of the game. So it was slow paced, and you're starting as Adam and a young kid. And it just you could tell the momentum. People are like, okay, let me get to the experience. So that was one huge lesson of okay, next time a big demo, you want to just drop them in the middle of something intense and fun, just to let them pick up and play. And then it was actually amazing because I was like, okay, it brought me back to the storytelling roots, where most movies, if you watch a movie, you'll notice the beginning of a movie is usually action. They start with action to kind of pull you in and set up the premise. So I was the demo I had was after. I didn't have an action intro. I had a slow build story, immersive experience, and it made me realize okay, I need to add a new scene. Something that's just starts off explosions, Michael Bay, what's the premise of the story? This is setting it all up. And honestly, after doing that, I was like, wow, this is way better. And then it gives you that arc peak. And then it makes sense to come to the calm, flow, and then peak up again and come. So yeah, it was brutal to sit there and be like, this is bad right now. But it was my honestly first time ever. I'm new to this, so it's first time ever being getting a laptop and setting up a demo. Oh, how do I get this running up here? Complete novice. Looking like a buffoon, tripping over my feet while everybody else is just sitting there yeah, you'll play my game. And just seeing blood splatter on the screens and gun gameplay, and I'm just sitting there yeah, try my game, man. Yeah, and I'm seeing all these journalists from IGN and Kotaku, and I'm like, yeah, hi, I'm Nick. So it was great. Talk about failing. Fail as miserable as possible, because it's the best feeling in the entire planet when you feel just so open and vulnerable, because that's when you're okay, I'm learning something that I'm never going to forget for the rest of my life, instead of just and it changes you and it makes you way more efficient and better. So yes, embrace the failures, embrace being shy and embarrassed, and that's where you become, you grow and you get to the next level. Just keep and then as you grow to the next level, the embarrassment's going to get bigger and a bigger scale with more people watching. And cool, keep failing. Like that's
Leave
it.
That wound open and just keep walking on through.
Yeah, just keep walking with the blood dripping, being like, "Hey, man, I'm growing," and then heal it up, and then reopen it later, because it's true, man. As you grow, you're gonna get more negative and positive, and it's just all over the place, and you just have to kind of sift through all the nonsense and be like, okay, this is important, let me take this and make it better. And sorry for the rambling, but just from my perspective,
it reminds me of like stand-up comedy, where it's like you have to bomb and you only get better by bombing and getting through that. And it also makes a lot of people quit along the way, but the people that stick with it, they just get better and better, and you become an expert eventually. But you have to just fail and be miserable for a while getting through that.
Yeah, and just think about being dedicated, telling yourself like, all right, the next 10 years I'm doing this thing, and just set your mind that way, and just like, all right, well, I'm going 10 years, like whether it's sitting behind microphones, like next 10 years we're going to grow this and keep talking and keep doing podcasts, and 10 years from now, how older will you be? And then what will your audience be, and your impact? And it's just amazing to have that perspective. And then it kind of gives you scalability. It makes you go, all right, this is what I'm doing right now is so small compared to that 10 years. It's just one, brick at a time to build the castle that you guys are trying to build. And whether it's games or podcasts, just keep building. That's it.
Yeah. You seem like a super motivated dude. Do you ever have any times where, like, say with this project or other projects, where you just kind of lose momentum? How do you pull yourself out of that? Do you have any advice or you're always just like, you're ready to go? You wake up out of bed screaming, ready to just like tackle the day? Or do you ever just...
I wake up with the computer right in my eyes, and I'm just like, I'll give you two. Wait, what was the second question?
Oh, just like, if you experience those slumps, like how do you get back? How have you gotten back out of it, with that?
So
and that kind of thing.
Two slumps, major slumps. One time working on the game, maybe it was like a year and a half ago, and like did some update or something and completely like lost everything. Like went back to like a very old version, like lost everything, like the way I had the camera set up, following the player, the way the player controller worked, like everything, like literally fell down into like the little like huddle position over my knees, and like was physically like crying. And my wife I had to just hug her, and I was like, dude, I'm done. Like, Jesus. What the hell am I doing this for? Like, why am I giving myself all this stress for what, And this is before anything, just me every day, just cranking it out. And, but then you just, after all the tears kind of wipe away, and you're just like, okay, what? I just learned something. I learned to save every day, and now, and to do
like save every day.
Get it tattooed like on top of my head here. Save, and I still don't save every day, but I should. But
but then you're only losing like 8 hours worth of work as opposed to like a month worth of work. Like that's devastating.
It was horrible. So I just like picked myself up, and then in the end, I was like, all right, well, I know what I did last time. Let's see if we could polish things and make it a little better. And I ended up working out better in the long run. I kind of got rid of some crap that wasn't as efficient and made it better. So kind of to relate to the second question, always kind of seeing it in a positive light to pick myself up and be like, all right, what am I learning from this? And just moving forward with it. That was one time where it was like it's like a fast crash of just like feeling like I wanted to give up. But then I think recently too, maybe like 4 months ago, just think 3 months ago, it's crazy. Like after all these great things happen, you still go, man, like I'm just freaking on this path, like just in a desert walking every day, like with no water and just walking. And then sometimes like E3 happens, and you get like the drop of water on your tongue. You're like, thank you, and you meet Greg in person, and kind of like picks you up, and it's the little things, and you keep going. But at one point I was just like, should I just put this out like as like a short little episode? Because I'm always about like failing faster, and I've still gone like, maybe I should just put this out as like, hey, episode 1 early access. If it does good, then grab the other section of the island and put it out as 2 in episode 3. If it doesn't, move on. And I just got to the point where I was just like, should I even complete this? And, for me, the way I lift myself up and off is always just, taking a moment to really analyze everything and sleeping on it. And, I'm all about dreams, man. And then just like woke up and the next day and just thought about, it's like, I think something will happen at the end of this tunnel, under this path, and whatever it is, even if it is something miniature or something big or something I learned huge, it's worth getting it done and doing it, even if it's the only game ever, which it's not. But like, I want to look back and say I did it, and and even if I know it's not 100%, just to say you completed it. And what do they always say? It's like 90% of developers don't even complete the games they start, or something along those lines.
Oh, really? Probably even higher than that.
Yeah. It's like, because we all love making, again, it's the newness. Oh, I'm starting something new. Cool. And then you get used to it and you're like, nah, next. And maybe I got to that point where it's just like, dude, what am I looking at every day over and over? But yeah, just to pick myself up, just said, I got to finish this, because whether it's for me or a testimony or lifting up someone else down the line, I'm just like, I know, even if it's 2 people, or 300 or 300,000 people who play it, there's somebody in that group that's going to go, hey, I want to, even if I've gotten messages recently in social media, it's, I want to start my stuff because I've seen you do it. What should I do? Do I need to learn code? It's like, this is why I got to complete this. It's saving someone's life, and affecting potentially, the future of who knows, of what, I don't know. But so that keeps me going, just seeing the 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, like down the line of just like, this is the first brick, like I have to put this down and then get the next one and the next one and just go from there. So I guess that's what picks me up. Plus, some Italian food and, some podcasts every once in a while.
Yeah.
It keeps me. Yeah, I think that's another thing, honestly. Big fan of Kind of Funny, big fan of Easy Allies. Like, when I get to hear people's enthusiastic joy for games, it kind of refuels me back to being a kid, and like, this is why I'm making a game, because it makes you feel that way, and the joy you get, and I reconnect back to that seed, and it kind of sparks me to go forward. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah.
No, I think those stories are so important with for other indie devs to hear, because I imagine there's other indie devs going through the same struggle where it's like, should I keep working on this? Should I trash this? Should I even stop developing or just create a new project? It's like, you need to hear that other people are going through that same struggle, to just sometimes just those stories alone help you just like remotivate you to keep going. So no, it's a big deal, and I love hearing that. I love hearing people when they pick themselves up and they keep going. However they do it, they actually find a way to keep going through it.
Right.
Yeah, you have to. There's no, you can't just stop. You got to just keep pushing. There's always the exit door somewhere, but you got to just walk past it and get to the completion door.
Right. Yeah, it's so easy to quit. Like it takes nothing, and then it's. Yeah.
That's the thing I always think about. It's like, if you were to quit, no one would bat an eye. Like you would just go and fade back into existence. But it's like, it's up to you. If you care about the thing you care about, you got to keep going. And otherwise, I mean, that's what draws anyone who's creating something. You have a voice, you have a message you want to get across. It's like, you want to see that message out there. So just keep pushing through it to see that message, have it being said. That's why everyone creates what they create, whether it's music, movies, anything, games. It's like they have a message they want to say.
Yeah, and I think just to a personal little story, it's like packing my bags in 2013 and moving from literally jumping in a car with no job, nothing, and driving across the U.S. to come to California.
Yeah, that's nuts, by the way.
Yeah,
Kudos,
I always hear
nuts.
that. I think looking back now, I'm like, you're freaking crazy, dude. Like, why the heck did you do that for? But yeah, just like doing that trip, I always look at that and think about everything that I do, or whoever does whatever in their life. Like, go forward, because looking back now, I'm just like, wow, man, my life, I wouldn't be married, I wouldn't have a family, wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't take that invisible, horrible looking path that looked like you were walking through a desert and nothing was happening, led to the waterfall, to the spring of life. So it's like, it's the same thing whether you're developing a game or your dream. It's like, just keep going forward, even if the world around you is literally crumbling, like you're going to reach that oasis. And it's beautiful when you get there. You can smoke your cigar and just be like, yeah, and just enjoy it. So
then all the new problems come up for all the the higher stakes, and then
the higher stakes. You're like, oh crap, now I got to build a company. It's like, oh, now I got to do this and move here. Yeah, so it's but it's the joy, it's the passion. If you gotta have that, if you have the passion and you're called, that's why I always say, do what you're called to do, because that's the only thing you're ever going to care about. And even if you're doing it as a side hustle till it becomes your full time, like just keep doing it, because it's what you were literally born to do. And you have no idea how important it is for your future people to come and just laying the foundation down. It's like, if there was no PayPal, there would be no Tesla. If there was no Tesla, there would be no, the next step and everything. It's like Elon Musk started, PayPal, and that went to the next thing and the next thing. And, it's the same. Apple, Jobs, and just got to freaking start in your garage and move forward. It's insane. It's insane. But yeah, that's another topic.
I did not know Elon Musk started PayPal. That's
yeah. When I think he sold that and then used that, and then think he started a bunch of others before that too. It's like, and then think about the beginning journey of that. I don't even know his backstory too well, but it's like just starting there and just going to where he is now, like revealing a crazy looking car and having the backing,
dancing on stage or whatever recently.
I don't know what you're referring to. That's the most normal car I've ever seen in my life.
It's the normal future car. Yeah.
By the way, side tangent. Have you seen Elon Musk's his mom? She's dope. She looks like a Bond villain. She looks like the coolest futuristic chick ever. Just Google her one day. She's got like this cool platinum hair. She's like, oh yeah, that's Elon Musk's mom.
All I can picture is Helen Mirren.
Just kind of like that, but like just the end boss version of
the end boss.
Yeah,
it's her nuts. Third stage in the boss fight.
She's in the next cool Bond film.
Yeah, I could easily put her there. Like, I want to be her when I grow up one day. No. There was something you touched on that I wanted to. Oh, with something I kind of have been dealing with recently is like when you're creating something, I feel like you're only going to care about the thing you're creating. I will rephrase this. No one's going to care about the thing you're creating as much as you do, whatever you're doing in life, right? So how are you dealing with promotion, with advertising, like with getting the buzz out for Adams Ascending? You've been on a lot of these high profile areas, but like, how are you dealing with just spreading the word out?
Just trying. I think social media is your best friend when it comes to promoting, especially if you're an indie. And I've learned over the last year, it's like key is kind of, if you have time, and that's the thing I always hear. It's like, well, I'm working on the game. I don't got time to promote. But it's like, you have to think about promotion as part of your game, and about building the game too, even if it's in the smallest little area and you gain, you gain a couple followers or gain a couple people putting your game on their list to purchase eventually. It's like, that's a win. And that leads to the next one and the next one. So yeah, I would say, it's a tough balance, but I'd say stay consistent. Once you stay consistent, you post and post. And even if you don't see any impact, I'd say research. Marketing is research. Like, research what is popular, why is it popular, where is it popular, on Reddit, on Twitter, on Instagram, it's another aspect of your business and trying to make your game successful. And another thing I've learned huge is connecting with, not just being in your own world going, I'm going to put this out, is also connecting to other worlds, in the sense of having the opportunity to be on the showcase with Kind of Funny. It's like that. Maybe that created traffic. Maybe it didn't for me. Who knows? But it kind of, it opens up an area to have more conversations with more people and more impact. And so I would always say, tip is reach out to people. Like, I've seen random people, I don't even know who they are, that are, promoting, getting tons of impacts, posting pictures of like games, literally taking photos of games and controllers. You've seen it, games and controllers and what they're playing and the shot, and like just reaching out to them and saying, hey, would you love to, I'll send you a poster and picture of the game and just like post this. It's like, yeah, sure, send it over. It's like, you might find the person who a massive waterfall opens or dam breaks open and people pour in, or nothing happens, but just try everything. So,
Shoot your shot.
That's why I thought it was such a good idea when you had you said you had a German Twitch streamer on. They're like, it's one of those things where you never know where it's going to come from. Like some random person plays something somewhere and you're like, oh, so we got to, he really liked it. He got the audience really into it. Stuff just kind of happens semi-organically like that. But even if you give it smallest nudge can create a super fan somewhere. It's always really kind of surprising.
Yeah, and you always hear it's like bad marketing is good marketing. Like just getting if people are watching, even if they're ridiculing something, especially in the level that if you're starting, cool, you got people eyeing it and it's on the radar, even if it's on their radar to make fun of it. Cool, buy it, make fun of it. Cool, have fun. Like
it's getting over it with Bennett Foddy, even though that was intentional, but.
I think everything matters, and especially when you're starting, and then once you get that momentum, then you could start having the muscle to flex and be like, I could do this now and have it cleaner and more professional. But at the start, just want to get your product out there, reach out to people, and I think that, and it was nice of the individual to reach out to me. I think it was Switzerland. Sure, I don't know. It was so long ago, but it's like, hey, I want to play your game. Can I download it and stream it to have your permission? Like, yeah, go ahead. Even if it's, I think, 19,000 or 20,000 people saw that stream. So it's like, cool, even if you made fun of it and all the comments were making fun of it, I loved it. That I need to improve that. It was like free beta testing. It's sure. Take those opportunities, and it's a tricky thing, but I'd say the positive of marketing, I know it's a lot of weight, but you learn who you are and you learn your voice and what you're trying to, and it helps you figure out what your game is supposed to be. Because in the beginning, it's like, okay, I kind of think that the game is this. Let me just post that. And then you start seeing the audience react to something else. And you're like, people are liking that. It's data, it's measurements. Like, let me start wheeling the style of the game in this direction, or the story in this direction. And, and you just get more, like, even little tiny, like I had an opportunity in that E3. I'm not sure if you guys know who Easy Allies are. They're a group of guys. Sure. Okay. Yeah. So they ran game trailers, and now they're off on their own. But like at E3 came across Brandon Jones. He's one of the guys who runs Easy Allies, and just to hear one sentence, he's like, man, I saw the game and I love the sci-fi and that element in space. Like, that's what I just want to play that because of that. Nice. And I'm just like, okay, so sci-fi check, space check, and spiritual, like, and anonymous, ghost and things like that. And demons and cool. Like, this is a marketing. I got to keep leaning into that, because sometimes you don't even know what your game is or your product or whatever you're doing. You just have an idea of it, but other people from different perspectives will see what it can be, and they lean into that. So it's even like, I think yesterday I posted just for fun. Like, my daughter she wanted to turn on my game and play the game a little bit. So I was like, oh, let me record.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and it's like,
she was like, oh, hot or something, like, because there's fire on the screen.
Hot. And I was like, okay, I feel like posting this. And it's probably been the most hits I've seen out of all my posts. And I'm like, okay, so you start learning the marketing side of it. It's like, is it my daughter that's making the impact because she's playing games? Yeah. Do I need to have more of that? Or is it, this perspective of the game? Maybe people don't want to see me yapping in front of the camera. They see another, I've had videos where I'm literally just like playing the game and showing the controller, like just moving around, and it's been like a huge hit for me. I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's off screen. It's captured, not even like quality. It's just like me holding the controller and being like, I got the analog sticks working. Yeah. And like people are like, yo, sweet. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy so throw your stuff out there, because it makes you, realize, okay, what's hitting, and then it makes you lean into that more as in a market. It's like, I posted my daughter playing Halo 4 months ago, it was the same thing. It like blew up. I'm like, what the hell? What if she got this like? I'm like, she's just like got this thing on her. So I was like, maybe she just needs to be the CEO of Parable Worlds and just start like going to all the events and speaking for me when they ask me a question. Yeah, when they ask me a question, like speak to her. She'll be like, hi. Like, yeah, you see the game? See the game? It's hot. It's on fire, man. You got to play the game. So yeah, it's not a bad idea, you know. So
she's like, we'll see. Dad, you got to tighten up this level here. I see like these textures.
Tighten up the graphics? Is that what we're doing?
She'll be like, tighten. But like, oh, okay. You want to tighten in there? Like, no, I'll tighten graphics. So yeah, maybe she'll be in charge of make it better. She'll be in charge of PR or something. Like, I'll get her. I'll be like, listen, I'm not gonna pay you, but you know, you're living in my house, so let's make it work here. So, that's actually not a bad idea. You guys have. You guys inspired it, so maybe she'll be.
You never know, like you said, what's going to take. And I always have these same analogies to comedy for some reason. But it's like I listen to a lot of these comedy podcasts with comedians, and they talk about developing a set where it's like you need the audience. You need to know when something's not funny or not, and by them laughing, by them not laughing. So it's like it's that same thing. You throw stuff out there and put your feelers out there, and know, okay, I should tackle this, I should tackle that, or leave that alone. It's like you need that back and forth with people.
Absolutely. So that's what the benefit of social media is. It's not even about marketing your game. It's finding out your voice for your game. I think it's just see it as not like, oh, I put it out there to get people to buy my game. Put it out there to be like as data to see, you know, to get a feel for, you know, the stand up for the skits and what they're writing. It's like get a feel for everything. And I think that's the benefit of it. Especially nowadays, we have the ability to just do it ourselves. You don't have to go to some third party.
Yeah.
You know, huge company and pay whatever to get. That helps. Don't get me wrong, but
all these indies that we talk to, it's like they're wearing all these different hats. It's like you kind of have to as an indie. You got to be promoting it and doing the music and doing the programming and the art and all this stuff. But just like 1-2 people, you know, max, like usually.
Yeah. So you're out in California. So I don't know if you're near one of the big cities.
Yeah, I'm like 40 minutes from San Francisco. I'm in San Jose, so I'm like pretty close to the city. GDC's coming up. Got to get prepped.
You're gonna have a lot of your indie friends like saying, "Hey, can I stay at your place during that?" But
hey, that's another. Be like, yes, but you have to play my game.
I'm like, darn.
Like, all right, I'll go to the hotel. Like, oh man.
But so one of the things, the two big cities I kind of live by, I found the indie scenes are fantastic. I imagine with San Francisco, it's already got a huge game development scene, regardless of the indies. Have you kind of been able to interact with any of these like indie meetups or anything like that? How's the indie scene been in an area where there's just so much knowledge and smart people and technology?
Yeah, it's I've gone to a couple of official Unity meetups because they have their offices in San Francisco, so that's super cool to just go in there and they have, you know, a couple people show their games off and just talk and just be like, cool, I'm in the building where, you know, if it wasn't for this building, there would be no Atoms Ascending. So it's always cool to do that. And then I've gone to a couple indie meetups, and there's always, I think the biggest thing, I've gone to a couple because I'm a person that likes to analyze and break down data but you always find very passionate people who are doing amazing different things. But there's always, and I do it to, these meetups have been fantastic to kind of analyze myself. I always see this one element missing, which is focus. It's like, there's so many great ideas. There's so many people. There's so many, you know, it's crazy how many indie devs are out here, you know, but there's always like, oh, I want to do this, or I don't know if I'm going to stop this and continue to do this other thing. And so it's great to just interact with them and to get their perspective. And especially when there's like the Game Developers Conference, I think it's in March. It's like, even if you go down, like I know the spots, like you could literally go to the hotel where literally everybody's there, like every AAA game, like you just sit at the bar and you're seeing everybody who's made every game of your life, from GoldenEye to Horizon to, you know, just sitting across the bar and seeing Corey Barlog sitting there drinking a beer and just like, yeah, I'm not going to go say hi because it's awkward, but it's like, cool. Right. He's just chilling right here, you know, and, awesome. and talking to people. So I think there is a benefit to just be in that environment, even if it's just to realize like you're all human, you know, there's no difference from you or them. I sit next to one person who's making an indie game, and then you see Corey, and it's like they're all the same. Like they're both making something they love, and I think that's the biggest thing doing meetups and being in the city is just it kind of pulls back the curtain of what you think, because on the outside you're like, oh, there's this big monster and you could never get in, and it's just like, no, there's just a bunch of people drinking beer and talking. It's like everyone's passion. So those meetups have been huge for me that way, to build confidence of just build your game, have fun, go into your little hole, or be a hermit crab and work on the game, but then also get out there and talk about it, because somebody knows somebody, and we're all scared to show our game or the product you're working on, because you're like, oh, it's not ready. It's never ready. Even when you put it out, it still sucks. It's like, that's just, it's just how it is, man. And, but yeah, hopefully that answered the question of just I'm excited because there's a new opportunity for me, not in the game side, but, because I'm doing the game stuff on the side hustle, that I'd probably be transitioning to Seattle. So already in the back of my head, I'm like, PAX. I keep hearing, I haven't been to PAX, and I always hear PAX is just like the place for indies. Even AAA game devs love coming there and just being in that environment. So I'm actually really looking forward to hopefully getting into a PAX West eventually with Adams Ascending, or just going and feeling it out. But I think it's key. You always hear it if you see actors like, I got to go to LA. It's like that's maybe you'll blow up in Kentucky as an actor or something, or but usually you want to go to where it's all happening eventually. You don't have game development's different. Like you don't need to, you could build your game wherever. But you want to at least get it into people's hands in those places, in the hubs.
Those
to make
connections mean a lot when you do show off a game or you meet someone. It's like they remember you. You mentioned like they know so and so. It's like
microscopic industry. It's so small,
and networking is a huge part. And you got to get out there, whether it's a huge industry event or a small one. It's like you got to get out there and physically talk to people.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's crazy. For the past 4 years, I don't know if you guys have heard of Day of the Devs. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about it. You wanted to get into it at PAX.
Was there a Seattle one or
It's I think run by Double Fine.
Okay, maybe there's something similar for the PAX.
Maybe something similar.
But they're like Double Fine. The guys behind, I'm going blank on what they've done. But
Brutal Legend,
Tim Schafer,
Tim Schafer.
So just like I've been wanting to go that forever, and it's like a free event. I'm just like, dude, finally I'm gonna go. And I went this year, and it's so hilarious of just like the people I saw at E3 you see there, and you're just like, oh my god. They're like, even Greg just walking by like, what's up, man? He's like, what's up? And it's just like just having normal conversations with people, and just realizing, dude, it's like compared to any industry, the game industry is, obviously there's always guardians at the doors and the gates to get in, but it is so open. It is so like, if you go to a place, you'll see someone, and there's chances for you to get into any door if you really want, and if you have time for it. And so it's crazy how much everybody knows everybody in the game industry. And I could feel it now. It's weird. Like, I don't say this in like a boasting way, but I feel like there's eyes watching on what I'm doing, but I don't hear anybody coming to me, or even if I reach out to people don't respond. But I feel like people are like just waiting, and you could feel it in the air. And like when you go to events, and that kind of motivates you to be like, all right, everybody knows everybody, and they're just like waiting to see what happens with this. So it's it's this crazy family.
Work, so now you're gonna start experiencing you have the attention and stuff, and it's like they see the stuff you put into it, so that pays off. Like you're at that point where it's paying off.
Like it was really cool to I'm not you guys know Shuhei Yoshida.
Yep. He's now doing the indie stuff with PlayStation. Right?
Yes, I'm like, but it was crazy. Like once he got that role, I was like, let me just do a tweet with like a little clip of Adams Ascending and put him in there and say like, like this is for you, man. And he tweeted back like Ascending with exclamation marks, and I was just like, holy crap, dude. Like I know to somebody it might be like, yeah, so what, man? It's a freaking tweet. But like to me, it was huge to just have that interaction And I'm still going to print that and put it up on my wall eventually, that tweet. And then I had this similar experience with Jeff Keighley. I'm like, I'm going to print that and put it on the wall as well one day,
Nice.
you know, the Game Awards. But yeah, it's just very small community. It's insane, man. Like, it is insane. And if you want to get in, there's an opportunity to get in. You just have to like keep knocking doors, keep doing. But yeah, I don't want to keep rambling. I'll just start going, yeah, this person, that person. Sorry.
No, yeah. I mean, and you know, we reached our hour. I don't want to buy up too much of your time, but I don't know if you wanted to get anything else in there, Gavin. Last questions.
Well, I still like the question you had at the end, and you probably have I know this was sent to you in advance, so I'd be curious your answer was the Kojima.
Oh, yeah. Why is Kojima your spirit animal, and why is he your spirit animal?
Yes, he is my spirit animal. I'm Kojima 2.0. No, I'm just joking. No, yeah, I could honestly say Metal Gear Solid on PS1 literally changed my life in this direction forever without even knowing it. Playing that game first time at a friend's house, I just knew it was like, what the heck is this? I don't even know what I was playing. I just knew it was something. It made me, the biggest thing it left me is made you feel you were there. You know, it wasn't about the sneaking around. It was just like, look at this world. Look at this square snowflakes that are falling from the sky. You know, the pixelated square snow. It was just like, oh my God, he's breathing. Look at the air coming out of his lungs. You know, like just the details, the footprints. These are things that make a game last forever in your mind, whether you're playing a Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption. It's the little things that make you, I've been hearing this recently, like smell the environment, you know, like to make you feel that it's actually real. And I think, I think he's done something consistently throughout his career that's always stuck with that feeling. Even with Death Stranding, it's like, whether you hate it or love it, you feel like you're effing climbing rocks and mountains, tripping over 30-foot tall boxes over your head, you know, like you're really experiencing that. And I guess why is my spirit animal? I guess it's just always willing to, you know, have a voice and to try things and to lead the industry in a direction. I think that's why people look up to him as a developer, and, you know, the status he is. Obviously, he's been doing it for years. And I got to meet him recently, so that was very.
Did your Twitter photo, right? Has it? What was that at an event or something where you got to meet him?
Yeah, I was at an event, and it was funny because, there was just so much. I'm like already having nostalgia here. I'm just sitting there and just hanging out. There was an event, and I got to like just go there and support. I can't give all the details on it, but just went there to go support and set up things, and just for me, it was the opportunity to be like, dude, I get to be in the same room and hopefully handshake this guy and you know, speak with him for a second. And well, I got to show off my signed Death Stranding. Yeah, there we go. That was super cool to just like, you know, give him a handshake, talk to him for a minute, or have talk to his translator, and for him to sign some stuff. So, but yeah, that was an event, and yeah, you could feel that just like there was this moment, there's this environment of no matter how loud it gets around them, there's this like, okay, I got to do this. I got to get to the next thing. And what I have, like, this guy will do this till he dies, you know, like that. 100%. There's nothing running through his brain else than just like making something creative. And I think that it's not a job. And I think that's the level we should all try to get into what we love to do. Is like, yes, you want to get paid to do what you love, but when you get there, you realize it's like, it's just your life, and you have the benefit to do it for a living and get paid, but you're just doing it because you have to do it, and it's in you and it's flowing out of you. I don't even know. Yeah, I could do a documentary on this guy, but but yeah, it was cool to meet him and just sitting across from him, like, dude, this individual started just like I'm doing, and it kind of fueled me up, just like you guys are doing. Like, it's just, everyone starts there, you know, and we want to get to the end within 5 seconds. It takes 30 years. It takes that time, you know, like, just be patient. And it kind of funny. It's like kind of funny didn't exist until what did Greg put in? I don't know, 7 years, 6 years, 7 years at IGN, and
for sure.
sacrificed him and everybody else before that time when they're, it's like nobody sees that 15, 20 years. They just see the now, and they're like, dude, I want to make that content too. Right. It's like, it takes time and it takes dedication. So I guess that's why he's my spirit animal. I just admire that fire, I guess.
Yeah, no, he's a beacon and inspiration for countless people.
And no one's perfect, but
oh yeah, for sure,
right.
for sure. Awesome. Well, this has been a blast talking to you. It's been really, really fun, really informative, and you're a super cool dude. Very jealous of that chin there, and I'll somehow get over that one day. But
I'll try to walk around like this.
There you go. No, then you look like regular.
I'd appreciate that.
I want to feel like there's hope.
The money's been transferred to your account.
Yeah, memes are created right now from that, but. This has been great. I wanted to give you the end here to plug Adam's Ascending and where can they find you. And I know you have the @parable_worlds, but also the Twitter handles for all that stuff. You want to promote that?
Yeah, I think Twitter handles, Instagram, my personal account, and Twitter is probably the best place to reach out, ask me questions, talk, whatever. Twitter's @Depalo. That's DEPALO. And then the Instagram, I think, is Nick_Depalo, DEPALO, I think. Let me just make sure someone's going to go there and be like, that's not you, man. What the hell are you talking about?
I can.
I don't know how you got just Depalo on Twitter. That's
it's Nick_Depalo. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how I got that as well. I was like, yeah, it worked out, man. So
that can't be an uncommon last name.
It might not be.
So yeah, those are the two places: Instagram, Twitter, and then the game. You could Steam wishlist it. Yeah, on Steam. I think if you type in Adam's Ascending or Nick Depalo, Adam's Ascending, or Adam's Ascending on Steam, it'll pop up. Please wishlist that, man. It helps. Yeah. It helps to see that grow, and it's just amazing to have the opportunity to even talk to you guys, and you guys are amazing.
Likewise,
you guys could tell you put your heart into every detail. You're very professional. You guys are chasing this amazing opportunity to inspire other people by talking to other people. And I'm completely grateful and honored to be reached out to you guys. And if you guys ever need anything, like you even want to talk again, or just want to see my chin, you just reach out to me.
I'll take you up at 3 a.m. I might take you up in that one of these
start
nights.
Up a Instagram account just for
just that chin, yeah.
Anytime.
And with Adam's Ascending, you're shooting for 2020 release, right?
Yeah, August, hopefully.
Gotcha.
It seems pretty. I'm just laying the groundwork of all the little pieces now, and then it's polish stage, then it's VO stage, and then it's more polish, and then it's testing, and then it's put it out there and be like, I did it, I think, and maybe get a bombardment of everybody like, this sucks, but then I'll be like, I did it though. So it works. But yeah, it's August 2020 . Hopefully, I don't think it'll get pushed, but I think I'll make the deadline. We'll see what happens.
We're always, proponents of taking your time, working on it. But I'm excited to see you finish this thing up and release it. We're excited to play it in the future because it looks pretty.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and I kind of keep it hidden because it's really rough. But if you go to parableworlds.com under the demo section, there is a very early pre-alpha for Mac and PC. If anybody wants to play it, it might work still. Who knows? But hey, give it a shot. Yeah, it's been a while.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well,
thank you guys.
I appreciate it. We'll let you go, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon. We'll see you.
Yes. Keep inspiring the world. Talk soon. Awesome. Enjoy the chin.
I will. It's burned in the
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much.